Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to my live stream. Also previously known as the Modern Audience Show. The show for the modern audience that doesn't exist. But I changed it. Now it's simply titled Welcome to my live stream. And of course, my live stream or this show, it doesn't have any format. It has no format. It is unscripted. What you see, what you hear is what you get. And I'm not playing a character. I may have an on-screen avatar, but I am not a character. Maybe I should try making a character. And call it Dr. Beast. A combination of Mr. Beast and Dr. Disrespect. Dr. Beast. Okay, there you go. I guess you can say the camera angle of my on-screen avatar. Does it look better? Well, my avatar is kinda looking upwards. So in the previous camera angle, my on-screen avatar was looking down. Was looking downwards. Now he's looking upwards. Anyway, let's go and start. Let us start the show, if you can call it that. Again, it's more like me watching videos in YouTube, and I'm going to repeat it. If all the content creators that I watch, that I like to watch, are in Rumble, there would be no reason for me to go and watch them in YouTube. Unfortunately, they're not in Rumble. Either they don't know about Rumble or it's because of the money. Yeah. Many of these content creators, as much as I like them, they may present themselves as righteous. Is that a correct word? But I'm pretty sure there's another word to describe what they do. But in the end, the good thing, describe the good thing that they do. And that is exposing the assholes that are trying to destroy not just the gaming industry, but the entertainment industry in general. They are wokes. They are assholes. What else? DEI, okay? Is that a noun? Is DEI a noun? I don't know. Or is it an adjective? I'm pretty sure asshole is like an adjective, because it kind of describes a certain type of individual. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're all assholes. Yeah, the incentive in staying in YouTube is, I guess, greater than moving to a platform that is not as large as YouTube. In the end, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. And I can't blame them because everyone needs money to survive, even the communist assholes. And I'm referring to the wokes. The wokies. They may hate money as some of them would claim. They may hate capitalism, but in the end, everyone on this green earth, stealing a line from Ric Flair, everyone on this green earth needs money to survive. So it's quite understandable. I understand why, even if they know about Rumble, why they would hesitate in moving to Rumble. But then again, most of them have editors or uploaders. Can't they create an account in Rumble and also upload their content in Rumble so that I don't have to go to YouTube anymore? I wonder. Maybe they are partnered with YouTube. Maybe it's an exclusive partnership. I don't know. By the way, guys, the music that is playing in the background is Welcome to the Show by Kevin MacLeod. It is licensed under Creative Commons 4.0 and you can download it for free at incompetech.com. Wait a minute. I think something weird happened. I felt like I said incompetech.com twice. Oh my goodness. That is just how my brain works. It is all over the place. And if you are using music like those from Kevin MacLeod, which are technically free, all you have to do is put up an attribution somewhere in your content. But there are assholes in YouTube. Yeah, I'm talking to you. If you're doing this, you are an asshole. Okay? There are assholes in YouTube that would download the music, put it in a video, upload it back, and claim it as theirs, and they would claim every other content that uses the same music, and they would take the earnings from those content. They are a bunch of assholes. I am not afraid to keep repeating or keep saying asshole, even though I'm streaming this in YouTube because my video is not monetized. I'm not a partner. And there is no chance in hell that I'm ever becoming a partner in YouTube. No chance in hell. Stealing a line from Mr. McMahon. Okay, I think that is how you say his name. He has a lot of problems right now. He's been ousted from his own company because he was caught doing bad things. He was caught doing only an asshole would do. Okay, let's stop with the assholeness. And let's see what we have here. We have here, look at that. Concord leak shows Sony wasted. Wow. Almost $500 million. That is not won. That is not yen. That is not yuan. That is not Singaporean dollars. That is US dollars. That is a lot of money. Amazing. Again, the only way, the only time corporations, gaming studios will learn is when their bottom line gets affected, and that is making money. If they start losing money, guess what? They will immediately do a 180 turn and go back to making content for not the modern audience, but content for real audience. You know, real people, not the 1% of the population that doesn't even exist. The problem is they have too much money. They have too much money. I wonder how long they can last. If they keep losing money in that large amount, like 400 million, wow. Even if they are a $1 trillion corporation or business, they will eventually run out of money if they keep losing that big amount. That is a big amount. 400 million. I will never see in my lifetime. I will never see. I will never get to touch 400 million US dollars. I might not even get to touch 1 million US dollars in my lifetime. But there they are, just squandering money away like it's seawater, because there's a lot of seawater. Okay, anyway, let's start with this one. This is quite interesting. I hope this is not clickbait. Concord leak shows Sony wasted $400 million. This is a reaction by Asmongold. This is war. Okay, not gaming. I'm going to watch this when I'm not on stream because it's not gaming. Maybe I should do non-gaming reactions as well.
Not cost. We all thought that it costed $100 million.
Yeah, everyone thought it was like $100 to $200 million. Everyone is wrong.
Who really gives a shit? However, and I don't do journalism really anymore, as you guys know, and we talk about this a lot. I was a journalist.
A lot of people don't. Yeah. You're in good.
They don't exist.
You're in good company then.
Okay. They're not, those doing journalism today, they're not journalists.
The stories that I break these
They
days,
just like to call themselves journalists.
always people
They
coming.
don't follow the ethics of a journalist.
Who worked on Concord reached out to me, and I verified who this person was and went through all of that and talked to this person extensively.
Remember, guys, this is basically just hearsay. You know, second-hand information is hearsay.
And I think people will be interested.
Sure, he talked to the
It's because some of the assumptions that I had
developer,
were dead wrong,
but it's not the developer talking.
and how much Sony really lost on it. So the big thing that you really need to know here about this,
So when you hear
Concord cost about
things like this, you take it with a grain of salt. Unless, of course, the actual person comes out and say, yeah, everything I said to the other guy, it's all real. It's not fake.
The reason that I wanted to talk about it is because some of the assumptions that I had made about the game were dead wrong. As far as how much it cost, and how much Sony really lost on it. So the big thing that you really need to know here about this is that Concord cost about $400 million to make.
There you go. And Asmongold fell silent. Look at his eyes. Look in my eyes, what do you see?
How?
Money laundering. Maybe the game was used to launder money. Again, I think I said this like many videos ago.
AAA.
The only people who made money with Concord are the content creators
Studio?
and the game developers, because obviously the game developers, those who worked on the game got paid salaries.
The story
That's
goes that
insane.
Concord, by the time Concord was, so in the first quarter of 2023, Concord had basically entered an alpha state.
Right.
This was before Sony had even purchased the team. But Sony had been working with Probably Monsters, and which is the original
So
owner.
they were able to play the game and they still bought it? Well, no wonder that gem guy got kicked out. What the hell was he thinking? What the
for
fuck?
Firewalk, probably since late 2020, maybe 2021 at the latest on Concord. The game was in development before that. Up to the point that the game...
Whoa.
Alpha state.
Buffering.
Yeah.
They had already spent about $200 million on it.
What's with the buffering?
And it's unclear how much of that money is from Probably Monsters and the original investors into the game, and how much of that money was from Sony. There's this term
Oh my God.
in product development, not only with games, but really with everything. You can like manufacture a tchotchke.
Sure.
You guys might have heard of it. It's called minimum viability, or a
Minimum viable product. Yeah. MVP.
minimum viable product.
Yeah.
The idea behind this, or MVP, the idea behind this is that this is like what you're trying to achieve, and it's like once you cross this barrier, you feel comfortable
Wizard
selling it.
says,
It's not.
Yeah, that's
One viewers,
this
plus
is
one,
also known
21
as
minutes and 26 seconds.
the pre-order bonus. This is what you get whenever you pre-order a game. Yeah, there you go. And that's the way all games are released.
Not that it's the best it can be, or that it's what it's going to be by the time you launch it, because there's
Yeah.
all sorts of extra
It's
stuff you
good
do to it.
enough
But
to
like,
get it
this
out
is the
there.
minimum
Yeah.
viability of the product. When the game had already had $200 million spent on it and was basically in an alpha form in quarter one of 2023, from that point until the game launched, Sony spent another $200 million on it.
Whoa.
How do you
Oh my
do
gosh!
that?
Did you hear that? Oh god!
Like I'm really curious, right? Like how do you make money disappear like that? That's crazy.
They all went
Yeah, these people should.
They all went to
They should become.
those who were making the game. Again,
They should work for the for
those who made money
the. They can get rid of all
with
the
Concord,
information. They'll just
the content creators who covered the downfall of the game,
Behind the
and the game developers who got paid
is that
developing it. Obviously, they won't work on it if they weren't paid.
and ready.
And $400 million? What?
Get moving towards getting this thing out in the next year or two.
Sure.
It was in such horrible shape that Sony felt like they needed to spend that much money again. So, 200 plus 200 to get the game to the MVP status, not
Jesus Christ. How do you spend $200 million and it's barely even good enough to release? Oh my God. It's sunk cost fallacy? I think that's what happened. I do. I feel like they bought it and they were so invested into it that they were like, well, we have to do it now. We're this close.
to the status of it being like a great game, to get it to just viability.
Oh my God.
And that at that time in quarter one 2023
Yeah.
there was nothing done. Like a major expense was having to urgently outsource much of the game to other studios to finish building the game out.
So they didn't even do it themselves. So they spent $200 million and the studio couldn't even then figure out a way to do it in-house? Oh my God. Like, This is how do you do like?
It's insanity.
That's incredible.
No, it's not incredible. It's disgusting.
Up to the point in which the game was shown in alpha. Onboarding, nothing about that. No, like there was nothing about how players get on, like how they make their character, all that kind of stuff, or choose their character and get there. And monetization. Two very expensive, very specific and boutique things that happen to games like this.
Sure.
And so that's the first thing that I wanted to say is that it's not only about the ongoing cost, which would be in the millions to keep the game going per month.
Exactly.
But that the game...
That's why Sony cut the cord. I think that's what it was. Is like they had already spent $400 million or they had spent $200 million. They bought the company for like a certain amount of money too. So like they had already spent hundreds of millions of dollars, and the game to have that much of a fuck up, I'm pretty sure somebody at Sony was like, all right, guys, enough is enough. Let's take her out to the back of the barn and, well, you know how it is.
Cost about $400 million to make, soup to nuts. Sony put most of that money in, and it is not only so because we had kind of said like this must be Sony's biggest loss ever on a game, and it is. It's the biggest
so far. I think they can do better. I think they'll do it. I think they could do something even worse than this.
Game Sony's ever released from a budgetary standpoint from the first party or second
most
party.
Expensive.
So let that sink in.
It's crazy.
And it's totally unintuitive. There are games that are in development right now at Sony first and second party that are more expensive than this. But as of the games that have come out so far,
Really?
Spider-Man
400 million. And there are other games being developed
350
that are more expensive? What, GTA 7?
If the people that are making games ever think
And that is not even Sony.
maybe we're spending too much money on making these games, because like if it costs $350 million, right?
It's a
Economics of this
maybe it's just a money laundering scheme.
60 to
I just hope
320.
Pal World wins.
They're probably expecting to.
Well, it depends. Nintendo is a big corporation, and it's in Japan. Who knows how their
Internally, the goal
court system works?
is less.
Maybe
You can easily assume that
the court will uphold the patent of riding a bicycle in a virtual space.
So, how are they going to
Sounds stupid.
have weird
I'm not a lawyer, but as someone who's just like,
early access?
looking in from the outside, it sounds stupid. And this is also, this thing, 400 million for Concord,
Somewhere down the line,
it's so stupid.
somehow they're going to have to make that extra $80 million back.
than that. And they lost
Even Asmon Gold was left speechless.
about $1 million gross revenue.
$1 million. Spend $400 million and you make $1 million. Gross revenue, not net. Oh my God.
There's a reason why it's called gross. Because it's gross. It's disgusting. Asmon Gold made more money from Concord than Concord itself.
And then they gave it all back. So this is a huge, multiple hundreds of millions of dollar loss. Now the
They
question,
could have invested into Bored Apes and they would have made more money. Like you could have invested into Enron almost.
Look at that. Now Asmon Gold is
Failures that would still make
suggesting NFTs.
lost less money. Yeah, I guess.
Suggesting investing on NFTs.
why did this happen?
By the way, there's scams. Don't fall for it.
Heavily championed behind the scenes. Now we know this because Sony ended up. What's funny is that the game is presented in Q1 2023 as this.
Dude, this is really going to be like what I was saying about how the PS5 Pro was probably leaning super hard on Concord. They were probably betting on this being a huge W, and I bet they had to like fucking rush cut like a third out of the PS5 Pro trailer.
We're kind of getting towards the end. The game is nowhere near being done. It's in a horrible position. and then Sony buys the team.
Yeah.
The idea behind this was, and the term apparently verbatim had been used, that Concord is the future of PlayStation.
What?
They had such a major ambition for this
Oh my
game
gosh,
that it was
did you
referred to
hear
internally
that?
as a Star Wars-like project for Sony.
How? Well, it's just a clone of Overwatch. Oh my. Maybe they did not see the game when they bought it.
I think that there's a lot of people that need to get fired. Like, you can't.
It's quite rare for me to see Asmongold
$399 million.
out of energy.
You can't just mess something up like that. That's crazy.
That it can be repeatedly revisited over and over and over again.
Comus
wait,
Preambit
you're
says.
right.
Visit
It is
Cavalier
400
Office
because they
KO5
gave
page
everybody
at
all their money.
link.
I forgot. Yeah, no. Okay, no, I forgot all about that. Yes, no, you're right. $400 million mistake. Oh my God.
Not only in cross media, but in what we were seeing, we've already kind of seen little bits of it. So the weekly story vignettes that they were going to release, and then of course the inclusion in Amazon's Secret Levels anthology, that's like just scratching the surface of it. Ironically, the game was codenamed Chaos behind the scenes. And a major thing about the game is that there was, and I think we can kind of get this vibe from just the nature of the people making it and kind of the way the game reads and all that, a toxic positivity vibe.
Yeah, because if you can't go against it, you can't say anything, and this is the problem, right? Is that there's certain ideals and certain types of like things in video games that you can't question. Like, think about how much shit I got whenever I said that I thought the body type 1 and 2 thing with video games was stupid.
It is stupid, Asmongold. It is stupid. There is no body type 1. Because if you're going to say there's body type 1 and then there's body type 2,
Do that because they don't want to risk their job.
should you limit it to just 1 and 2? Why not have like a million body types?
Lies about you and then go to
No, there is no body type 1 and 2. There is just male and female. There is only 2 sexes.
So it's like you can't question this.
You're either a male or you're either a female.
You're enabling bigotry or somehow you're a bad person. So it's like
Imagine identifying yourself as a female, and then you get this rare medical condition where you need to be treated with the treatment requires the treatment is for males.
no.
How are you going to get the treatment when you are identifying as a female and you wouldn't take the medicine or the treatment?
Narratives like this.
You're gonna die.
And you see this all the time, right? Like, think about the kind of things that people say about me. They say that I hate trans people. They say I hate women. Like I all of these things, right? I hate gay people. I'm racist, etc. And so if you're saying all
No. Asmongold is none of those. He's just stupid sometimes.
damaging to a person's career,
Sometimes he says a lot of intelligent things, and then sometimes he would say a lot of stupid things. He's basically just normal, I guess. You can say he's normal.
they're the kinds of people that will go to your new employer and then try to push this agenda with them to get you fired.
Here's the thing. Imagine going to
All your job to get you fired.
someone's employer,
Facebook tweet.
exposing someone you don't like, and then the employer
These are the kinds of people
share the same opinions or beliefs as
they're super
the person you don't like. Nothing will happen. You'll just expose yourself.
they can to like assert themselves as being the the good group of people, etc. And
Like going to someone's job and saying, "Hey, the person you hire, that person is a Christian,"
speak out about it because if they speak out about it, they lose their job.
and the business owner is also a Christian, and it's a Christian-based business.
Been involved with gaming long enough to control enough of the process.
The assholes it's really weird that
And I think
the assholes hate Christians for some reason.
in trouble. Exactly, right? And so a lot of people
The
against it.
the only religion that tolerates them
They probably don't want to die on that
is the one they hate the most.
kill them. Yeah, exactly, right? Like they might think this is stupid or it's not going to go well, but they care more about keeping their job than like trying to argue about body type.
They think the other religion, the other major religion, will tolerate their mental illness.
Or their well-being, right?
They think that
Which is reasonable. Of course, people are going to think that.
a man wearing women's clothing entering a mosque
Speak out.
will be
Don't want to be made an example
acceptable.
by people that are extremists, and I think that's what's happened.
I guess there's a reason why they are
Anything. Apparently,
mentally insane.
Yeah,
about how like something's wrong with it, character designs are not right.
exactly. Because if you say the character designs aren't right, then you are potentially saying that people of size should not be in video games, and this is the issue, right? Or
No, that is not true.
you just want everybody to be white people. What are you
There is a game that
want to do that?
that
Why would anybody put themselves?
that I played like maybe at the beginning of the year.
I'm in a very
I forgot the title. It's a battle royale game, and there's like
people watch my content,
a really big character.
and as long as I
The character's so big that the hitbox is wide as well.
still get to make money,
I had to test whether
gets upset about something.
the hitbox of the characters were the same, but no, the big character, because the character is big, it's wide.
And especially,
It also has a wide hitbox.
you know, it's not like this isn't a glaze thing, right? But like, it's just the truth.
The game, I believe the game was using the characters model as the hitbox. I don't know. I'm not a game developer, but I did test it. I kept shooting
for engaging in
at the big character on its side, and I was hitting it.
that's why I think a lot of people also don't like me too, especially people inside of the industry, because I don't have, and I think also, by the way, I don't want to get into specifics for obvious reasons, but I have had multiple people in the video games industry message me privately and say, yeah, we agree with you. We absolutely fucking agree with you. It's just
Again, hearsay.
because they're
Okay, take it with a grain of salt.
really? Yeah, of course. Absolutely. What do you think? They're all retarded? No, they're not stupid.
Of course not. Not everyone is retarded.
They see what's happening. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's just ridiculous.
There are just a few people, and unfortunately, those few people are in positions of authority within their industry or business or corporation companies.
Like return to form to gaming that's going to happen in the next 10 years, because I think that again,
As soon
these products,
the sooner the gaming studios, the game developers, the entertainment industry realize that the modern audience does not exist and they are losing money, the sooner we'll go back to enjoying what we were enjoying back then. Good and fun games. We don't need hyper-realistic graphics to have a good game. Of course not.
are going to figure it out, and I think that they already are. I do. Diversity is not innovation. Do you think Concord Studio also had some of these people afraid to speak out? Absolutely, they did. And I actually think that the more likely answer is that Concord Studio initially had those people. The Sony people that worked with Concord initially had these expectations, but then they either left the team, they got pushed out, or they just lost interest and just did their job anyway. A job's a job. Do you think gaming went this
Yeah. If I was working there and I was told like,
turning point?
well, finding a job is really hard and you're not very influential. You don't have a lot of connections, so you just stay there. So you just listen, you just shut your mouth, you don't voice your opinions, because if you do, you'll get fired. Even if you are a secret Christian, so you'll just go into, I'm not going to let them know that I'm a Christian. So I'll just sit here. If they ask, I'm just gonna deny it, just like Peter did,
You'd be completely unpersoned from the internet.
because I need a job.
Elon Musk, they get rid of those rules, and now there's a leak in the data.
I'll just do what I want.
You know what? The floodgates.
They want
and every
bad-looking characters. Okay,
what happened.
I'm going to design bad-looking characters.
Knows it. Every,
They want clashing colors. Okay,
where people
I'll give them clashing colors that is hard to look at.
they were getting banned and making new accounts.
They want a robot with pronouns. Sure. Hey, I'm not going to play it, so
Because if you can see,
I'll just put it there.
right? If people
How can a robot?
were unable to,
I guess you can. A robot can have pronouns. It's like it's and
those people aren't able to express those.
they. It's they. Something like that. I don't know.
They would get,
I'm not an expert when it comes to
so you would
pronouns.
viral, super popular posts that had a extremely conservative lean to them,
Because it's stupid. You already have
or they would
a
get
name. You don't need personal pronouns. It'll just confuse people.
people can
So the thing is, for better communication, it must be simple.
And I'll also give
If you're adding terms that
look at
are
nobody is
you just pulled out of your ass and you're redefining things, redefining words,
inappropriately with a minor, allegedly.
yeah, you won't have good communication.
Right? However, it's very obvious that the audience that is actually consuming content doesn't care about that. That's because content creators and people on the internet care more about optics. So when you have a content creator, and this is a very healthy thing for you to look at, and you can also see, like, for example, think about the Hogwarts Legacy, like all of that drama as well. People don't care. Yeah, exactly. Because average people don't make decisions based off of this. So I think that Twitter being able to be an actual free place for people to have opinions and say what they think was a massive turning point for why I think that you're seeing such a big, like, backlash against this. It's because beforehand, you were not able to have this.
Yeah, before,
Now that people can speak,
there's only one opinion that is allowed
and I think also
in X.
other instances,
Now,
Bud Light
if you say something that is bullshit, people are going to call you out. Oh, you know what? The Earth is flat.
So yeah,
It's not round. Obviously,
for silence. Yeah,
that is
if you make people stay
that is not true.
they will
So people are going to call you out.
words still get
You know what?
like the
Men can menstruate. You know, they menstruate. They can. I've seen it. It happened to me.
you don't get banned.
Okay, and then before you can say that, and no one can refute your claims.
Twitter and same for
Of course, now
I think it's very important that Elon bought Twitter.
you'll get like a lot of people calling you out.
So
You're
that
insane. You're stupid.
paradigm of modern audience being a gold mine is finally finished. Well, the problem is that the modern audiences,
The modern audience don't care about games. They don't care about, yeah, sure, some of them, but the majority of them, they don't care about games. They worry about looking in the mirror and, do I pass as a woman?
like,
Will they see me and think I'm a woman? Things like that. Okay. They don't worry about games. They don't care about games. What they do is they complain online, and not just online. They annoy people online. They complain online, and they also annoy people in real life.
we're going to talk about it being good.
That is their entertainment.
I think that a lot of people really downplay how sheepish the average person is. So the moment that the average person can see that they don't have one perspective, they have two perspectives or multiple perspectives they can look at, then they can think for themselves. But when they're only shown one perspective, then they're all going to think that one thing. Look at vaccines during COVID. I think that COVID and the vaccine thing was actually probably one of the biggest agitators for this.
I still need to know the truth behind COVID. There's a lot of conflicting claims from
But I hope you
quote unquote experts.
fits together, right? is that during COVID, it was very evident that the CDC, well, I mean, to be honest with you,
Even before COVID, I was already getting like, COVID-like symptoms back then. And it was because of my allergy.
work, you try something different. But the problem is that
Fortunately, during COVID, my allergy did not trigger.
size or
It would have been
any doubt
so much
that
of a pain in the ass because they will take me to the hospital and they will immediately diagnose it as COVID, even though it's not COVID, it's just
something else,
a bad allergy reaction.
speak out against it,
So I was very thankful that
a tremendous pushback,
I didn't get,
a massive
or
pushback,
it never triggered.
losing their job over
But
not wanting to take.
before COVID, years before COVID, I would get,
That's crazy.
like,
I mean, there's
my allergy would like trigger,
fine.
and the description is very much like COVID, having like
I'm not a scientist.
bad cough,
Just
watering eyes. It's like you have like a bad case of the cold.
you were not able to criticize this thing, and then to see the fact that this thing minted new billionaires from the owners of the company,
And it would incapacitate me for like maybe a day or two.
seen as the gold standard of the government, created a
And it was just a bad
that I don't think that we will
allergy
20 years.
reaction to something.
It was an insane level of distrust.
My heart doctor
40?
was the one who
It is a generation.
told me it could be allergy.
So anyway,
Because during what do you call this? In one checkup,
and
went to the doctor for,
going to change
it's for the heart.
because opinions like
And I told her,
our Concord,
I don't know why or how it happened, but
cannot exist in a free
I
market.
was able to tell her
Exist
about
inside of a
what happens to me. This really
exist when they're
weird case of
dissenting opinions can't
coughing. And I went to a lot of doctors and they couldn't figure it out. And then he said it could be allergy.
and that's why they tried so
And
hard.
he was right.
For you didn't have a free marketplace of ideas. There are things that you just can't question,
So weird.
be against. Even though, again,
So weird that
you can change what people say.
the heart doctor
It's a lot harder to change what people,
figured it out just from listening.
especially when they have the option.
While the other doctors that are supposedly specializes with, the lungs and things like that,
COVID, veterinary
they just prescribed medicine. We bought it didn't
samples,
COVID
or anything
it would relieve the symptoms, but
or like kind of
it was still there.
that fell that have caused
The good thing is once
a reaction.
we knew it was allergy, it's just a matter of just avoiding whatever it is that triggers the allergy. And when I feel like it's happening, I would just take the anti-allergy medicine. And
Back to
it's been like years since I last
the video.
experienced the
That's why
I can't even describe it.
and so on and so forth. They really truly believe this was Herman Holtz's baby.
I can only describe it as like COVID-like symptoms
Himself a massive
from what I've seen from the internet or people describing
but it's that
what COVID is.
when
So I was like really
money out because
lucky and happy that
some of the first party games like Ghost of Tsushima
it never happened during COVID,
lost in that frame.
frame of reference. Yep.
And I was like, there's no way.
because if it did,
Cost 9 figures.
oh my goodness, everyone, the doctors in hospitals will just,
It cost 400 million.
they're very lazy. They will just claim that it's COVID,
Totally solid on this.
even though it's not.
So that's
And they would give me like vaccines, and I would be quarantined for how many days? It would be hell.
18 months ago before release. Not
It was in
even
horrible shape 18 days ago. But yeah, there's that too.
monetization, no onboarding, most content not even there. The game was in such bad shape at that point that they spent the budget of it again in urgent outsourcing to get the game finished.
Maybe in the future,
For an 18-month
when
internally, the game
everything goes back to normal.
heavy cross
We will find out the truth about
system
COVID.
of
Think about how big it is. The fact that the Netflix show was made for Concord before Concord even released. I think that's probably the best data point that I can use to verify what he's saying. That's crazy. Was it Amazon? It was an Amazon show. Oh, Amazon, not Netflix. Sorry. But there was an Amazon show. There's like a series of shows that were based off of video game worlds. Like I think they're doing a Cyberpunk one, a God of War one, like Last of Us, I think. No, actually probably not, because they did a whole show about that. And they did a Concord one as well called Secret Level. Yeah, it's like a mini show. Or mini series, excuse me. And they made one for Concord. And so you would have to easily assume that the filming for a lot of this is probably already done. The shooting for a lot of this is probably already done. So they did all of this. They basically wrote a blank check for Concord. They said this game is going to be successful, and we're even going to make like Amazon produced film media about this game. Crazy level of investment.
activity surrounding it that didn't allow anyone to meaningfully change the course of the game. Because if the people at the top truly believe in something, you're not going to be able to do much about that, I don't think, from the
and think about it from your perspective, right? Let's say you're one of the guys that's on the ground, you're doing the work. Well, what do you think happens if you're the one speaking out against the executive's idea that he's this is his game that he really wants to push out there? It's going to be like our Overwatch. It's going to be our Star Wars. Well, now you're the enemy and you get fired. That's what happens.
trenches. So I thought people would be interested in that, and just wanted to throw that out there. That Star Wars really apparently, or I'm sorry, Star Wars. Sony really saw this as a Star Wars-like project for them,
Wow.
the potential to, and now it makes
That's
sense.
sad.
Yeah.
Not only why they spent so much money on it, but why they bought the team. So there are people there.
What a
and to me, it's
mistake.
unclear
That's
who exactly the
crazy.
people are. I know some of the names. I don't want to get too deep into that because a lot of the things I learned were off the record, but obviously this is on background.
Yeah.
And it's now it makes a little more sense. You spent, and by the way, the $400 million not included in how much it cost to buy the team.
So, the 400 million doesn't include the costs. It could be higher then. Could be what? $1 billion? Or maybe not. Maybe, let's say 100 million more or 200 million more.
Yeah, biggest. So Concord is Sony's biggest released game by budget to date, and it is the biggest loss that they've ever had as a company
So
on
far.
a project before.
Deserved.
That's amazing.
Now I'm going to say it's deserved.
$1 billion.
So if they don't want to,
This might just be the biggest
have they learned?
in general, not just video games.
Did they learn from this experience? I hope so.
Actually say how much money
I
we spent
hope.
on things. But
But
incredible.
there's a part of me that's saying that, nah, they did not.
Toxic positivity halted anything.
They are going to keep doing what
Terrible ideas.
they have always done.
If you
The next game is
people just stop doing
also for the modern audience that doesn't exist.
$400 million budget, you could have made 4 amazing PlayStation titles. Yeah, or you could make one Concord. Factoring Sony bought the studio or not. No, she didn't watch it. They said that at the end. Concord budget was $400 million to make. That is beyond insane. Whoa, look, Concord is a massive failure, but I don't believe this number for a second. The whole I know someone who knows something tweets are just never believable to me at this point.
Yeah, because it's hearsay. Again,
Right?
if it's hearsay,
I actually don't think that's true at all.
you need to take it with a grain of salt, okay?
That it takes to run a studio for
It's basically just rumor.
and a AAA studio with over 100 employees, and then you also talk about all
But guys, if it's true,
money outsourcing.
it's insane.
Something you're also spending a tremendous amount of money doing that. You're paying a premium in order to be able to do this. And a TV show, yeah, it's hard to know how the funding for the TV show happened. And you even look at other games like Elden Ring cost $200 million. Star Citizen is upwards of $700 million so far, and the game's not even finished yet. So there's tons of examples.
Well, in Star Citizen's case, it's understandable. They're trying to build a universe, and that will, it will cost billions, even trillions of dollars to finish. And we even don't know when if it's going to finish or not, or maybe it's just in perpetual development.
So I think that Concord was probably a perfect storm.
But those who are invested in Star Citizen, well, they believe in the project and they're funding it. So there you go. We can't really blame
product rather than
we really can't blame Star Citizen for having a massive amount of money invested into it.
They aren't banning anyone with a conservative opinion. Well, what I'm saying is that a lot of companies, like for example, a lot of companies can make video games with very, very small studio sizes, and then other companies have massive studio sizes and they still can't figure out how to make a game. I think that
it's because of the size, If you have like 200 people working together, it's gonna be the logistic is like would be insane, right? Than managing just 10 people.
I'm not sure if you heard Craig, but Colin Moriarty had an interview with someone that worked on Concord. Turns out the development cost was about $400 million.
So apparently,
Okay, so that was YouTube has this thing where it would automatically play the next video in its queue. So that was a side scroller. But before we move on to the next, I'm going to give this one a like first. There you go. Okay, now let's go. It's the same topic basically. So side scrollers, Craig of side scrollers, they're going to discuss the same topic here, which is Concord costing $400 million. Of course, we don't really know whether it's true or not. But it's interesting. Okay, it's interesting.
Colin Moriarty had an interview with someone that worked on Concord. Turns out the development cost was about $400.
Okay, so this is from Side Scrollers.
I have not seen it, but
So we have Vara and Craig.
proof to believe that big of a number.
$400 million. Holy shit.
I would need something besides a he said, she said with that type
Yeah.
insane.
Okay. Again, it's
Now,
hearsay.
clip over on X, which is really popping off. Do you have any interest in watching this right now? For
Yeah,
the first...
sure.
Okay, cool. Let's check this out.
All we can do is react at the moment, be shocked, be surprised, be disgusted.
At all times, specifically.
But right now, it's not confirmed.
I cannot hear it.
Oh, you can't? Okay, bummer.
Nope.
Let's try this
Cannot hear.
again. Let's try this one more time. Okay. I could hear it. I don't know about you. Okay. All right. Here is Sacred Symbols. The
Maybe. If we wait a few days,
I want to talk about Concord.
someone might
Ever talk about this game?
either confirm or deny
However,
this $400 million Concord development costs.
you guys know, and we talk about this a lot. I was a journalist at one time, and I used to break a lot of stories, and these days I don't really grind like that. So the stories that I break these days are usually people, or always, not usually, always people coming to me. And someone who worked on Concord reached out to me, and I verified who this person was and went through all of that and talked to this person extensively, for a long time.
Ooh.
And got some, I think, interesting information that I can share about Concord. I think people will be interested about it. The reason that I wanted to talk about it is because some of the assumptions that I had made about the game were dead wrong as far as how much it cost and how much Sony really lost on it. So the big thing...
That is why people use words like allegedly. or in my opinion,
400 million.
because they don't want to be sued.
And the story goes that
Or assumptions.
See if that is including the acquisition.
I assumed.
It's got to. There's no way that that was just like development costs and marketing. There's no shot.
Wow, $400 million. Yeah.
That's so much. Now, my question would be is, I know he doesn't specify, but who he talked to. He just says he spoke extensively with someone. So it's definitely a bit harder to believe, but
Of course. That is expected. Any intelligent person would, would listen to the story. Okay.
That's the 400 million.
But wouldn't immediately make
My God,
extreme
insane.
conclusions.
I just pulled up a list of most expensive films to produce. If $400 million is what it costs to produce Concord, there's only 3 films in the history of movies that have been produced that were made for over $400 million. Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Those are the only 4 movies in history. So Concord would be in very rare air if this is true.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at other acquisitions that have happened over the years, and these are different years, but like Take-Two got Gearbox for $460 million, Embracer Group got Aspire for $450 million, Pearl Abyss got CCP Games for $425 million, like
Copus
Electronic
300
Arts
says,
got Playfish for $400,
Cavalier
Tencent got
Office
Riot for
AO5 page
$400.
link.
So, I mean, that is in the top percentage when it comes to video game company acquisitions, and never mind the development costs of the game itself.
Let's see what else he has to say here.
Concord, by the time Concord was, so in the first quarter of 2023, Concord had basically entered an alpha state. This was before Sony had even purchased the team. But Sony had been working with Probably Monsters, which was the original owner of Firewalk and Firewalk, probably since late 2020, maybe 2021 at the latest on Concord. The game was in development before that. Up to the point that the game went into alpha state, they had already spent about $200 million on it.
Jesus.
And it's unclear how much of that money is from Probably Monsters and the original investors into the game, and how much of that money was from Sony. There's this term in product development, not only with games, but really with everything. You can like manufacture a tchotchke. You guys might
So guys, we've already watched this video. What I'm watching is Craig's and Vara's reaction to this $400 million Concord development costs.
idea behind this, or MVP. The idea behind this is that this is like what you're trying.
Of course, when it comes to reactions, compared this to Asmongold's reaction,
the best it can be.
well, Asmongold's reaction was better.
You do to it, but like this.
But that is Asmongold, and this is side scrollers.
$200 million spent on it, and was basically in an alpha form in quarter 1 of 2023. From that point until the game launched, Sony spent another $200 million on it. The scuttlebutt behind the scenes about Concord.
So he's saying that does not include the purchase of the studio, because he's saying that's just $400 million.
Yeah, if the studio was purchased for 100 or 200 million, so you add that
That's such
to the cost, which is 400, that is like 600 million. And I'm not sure if the 400 million includes marketing and whatnot. Did they market the game? I don't know. Maybe they did.
Hero shooter launch.
All I know is that Concord came
Accurate.
and Concord
Shocking.
disappeared.
And like, what do you spend that money on over the course of 18 months? If you're talking
Salaries.
2020.
The executives paid themselves millions of dollars.
Well, the thing is that Sony had made a deal with what are they called? Play Monsters, with the studio that owned them in 2021. for publishing. So Sony was intertwined with them going back to 2021. And before that, the game had already been in development for years. So, I mean, who knows when Sony started giving them money? If it was just at the acquisition, that would make no sense. If they just gave them $400 million, you know.
I just realized that my entire hour was spent on
Back to 2021,
Concord.
that Sony was, you know, giving them money. I mean, this just sounds insane.
I mean, there's still a lot to go in this.
Well, I'm happy that the content creators covering Concord are making money off Concord.
Is the idea
Except me, of course, because
it costs 400 million.
my channel in YouTube is not monetized and it's shadow banned, so my live stream will not appear anywhere. The thing is,
You got
if I'm logged in,
I mean, that's what
YouTube will recommend my own live stream to myself. Insane. If you're seeing that, it'll give you to the
basically like when the alpha was ready to go and they were kind of
those not familiar on how
moving towards getting this thing.
YouTube tricks people.
It was in such
To
hard.
the unknowing.
Sony felt like they needed to spend that much money again, so
You will think that YouTube is, oh, look at that, my video or my live stream is on the front page. YouTube loves me. YouTube is recommending my live stream. Nope.
if it's in a laughable state,
right.
YouTube is just showing you
dollars in
your content because you're logged in.
the company.
Yeah, it's not like
Try logging out and you will not find your content anywhere. If you are shadow banned, you can try searching, it will not appear.
get it to just
But if you are logged in and you search,
that at that time in quarter one,
YouTube will show you your content.
like a major expense was
That is how YouTube is like tricking
much of the game to
those they shadow ban.
finish.
So if they're logged in and they search for their content,
Fundamental things were not
it's there.
at all up to the point in which the game was shown in alpha.
And then they see it and they feel they would
Like there was nothing about how players get
what is this they would
choose their character and get there, and monetization. Two very
lower their guards. Okay, I guess I can't find any other praise to describe what I'm trying to say. So they would lower their guards, thinking that, hey, maybe I'm not shadow banned,
game cost
and they wouldn't even bother searching while not logged in.
it is not only so because we had kind of said like this must be Sony's biggest loss ever on a game, and it is. It's the biggest game Sony's ever released from a budgetary standpoint from the first party or second party. So let that sink in.
It's crazy.
And it's totally unintuitive. There are games that are in development right now at Sony first and second party that are more expensive than this. But as of the games that have come out so far, so think about like Spider-Man 2 and so on and so forth. We know The Last of Us Part 2 cost $220 million. Spider-Man 3 is going to cost about $350 million. This game cost more than that. And they lost all of it because they made no money. They made about $1 million gross revenue, and then they gave it all back. So this is a huge, multiple hundreds of millions of dollar loss. Now the question is, why? Why did this happen?
All right, and this is why. Okay, hopefully it gets into why do they only give it 2 weeks,
right,
along
maybe.
the way. Right. This is there will be documentaries done about Concord. And
Oh, 100%. Sony must have just seen a studio that was making a game that they thought was going to be big, that was in need of cash. So they said, we're going to give you a lot of money. And don't worry, guys, we're going to put a lot of money into the game. But I mean, if these numbers are true, that's absolutely insane. I mean, look at something like ZeniMax, right? They probably sold because they, were running out of money, but they had franchises. Concord was not a franchise. This was Firewalk's first game. So it's not like they were bringing like name brand recognition to the table. I can understand Sony buying them and putting a lot of money into a company in a situation like that. But with Firewalk, it's just so bizarre. It's like it's their first and now clearly their last game. It's not like they had deserved that money. I guess Sony was just really thinking Concord was going to fly off the shelves and it was going to be the next major esports game. But I mean, the esports scene is not in a healthy state, so why, again, they would think that is beyond me. It just shows the massive disconnect with these executives and players.
I am, golly, like you give me when I hear 400 million, like that amount of money isn't even comprehensible, right? The idea of $400 million being invested into something like this. And for me, my mindset is I would much rather take, let's say we're going to spend $400 million on it. Well, the initial thing was $200 million. Why spend that $200 million to begin with, right? Why not take that $200 million that you're going to spend, make 20 games with a $10 million budget, right? That of all varieties, all shapes and sizes, you can have your representation game, you can have your shoot 'em up game, you can have all sorts of games. $10 million in game development will take you very, very, very far. In this case, it took you no.
Unfortunately, Craig, that is not true.
To think.
I think it just
That is not true. Because they needed 400 million for Concord.
in the making, and them thinking, wow, this is what audiences want, this is what gamers want, and well, clearly nobody wanted it. It's hilarious to see games fail on such a massive scale like this, because we always say, oh, if you're going to make a modern audience game, where's the modern audience? They could show up and they could buy it. There could have been 100,000 people playing Concord, and this DEI shooter could have done really, really well, but it didn't. So why do you continue to make this mistake? I mean, games are very expensive, and they need to be more careful with what they're spending their cash on. They're so worried about pushing the message. They're not worried about what is going to please audiences and what people really want to.
And what is the message, by the way? What is the message?
Of individuals that want content like this.
This is amazing. Shield of Dragon says, imagine what Craig could do with $400 million. You know what I'd do? Live on a beach.
Right?
I would own a beach. I would make it to where nobody can come for miles and miles away. Let's finish this up here.
This game was heavily championed behind the scenes. Now we know this because Sony ended up, what's funny is that the game is presented in Q1 2023 as this, we're kind of getting towards the end. The game is nowhere near being done. It's in a horrible position. And then Sony buys the team. The idea behind this was, and the term apparently verbatim had been used, that Concord is the future of PlayStation.
Oh.
That they had such major ambition for this game that it was referred to internally as a Star Wars-like project for Sony.
Holy shit.
It can be repeatedly revisited over and over and over again, not only in cross-media, but in what we were seeing. We've already kind of seen little bits of it. So the weekly story vignettes that they were going to release, and then, of course, the inclusion in Amazon's Secret Levels anthology, that's like just scratching the surface of it.
That's the most damning thing that I could potentially hear. Because that to me said, like, they have no pulse. No pulse of the gaming audience. If they thought this was going to be the next Star Wars.
Yeah. Yikes. Oh God, they're just so disconnected from reality. It's fucking insane.
My gosh. All right, let's finish this, because this gets like, I thought like 2 minutes in, we're like, this is bad.
Yeah,
then, like,
it's just getting worse.
It's man, holy shit.
Ironically, the game was codenamed Chaos behind the scenes. And a major thing about the game is that there was, and I think we can kind of get this vibe from just the nature of the people making it and kind of the way the game reads and all that, a toxic positivity vibe. You weren't allowed to say anything, apparently internally, about this game.
What did I just say? What did I, like, fucking an hour ago? We were talking about nobody could say no. Nobody could say no. Oh my God. Vera, do you have anything on this, or do you want to keep consuming this? Right?
It's bad. This is it's just progressively getting worse.
Oh my god! Yes, you can't say no to the point of $500 million being spent on a shithole game. Holy crap! Toxic positivity.
Yep.
About how like something's wrong with it, character designs are not right, and so on and so forth. They really truly believe this was Herman Hulst's baby, apparently. And he internally was himself a massive champion of the game. So it's not that. So the reason I'm telling you all of this, it's some interesting information, of course, but it's that I had said when people were like, Concord lost $200 million. Now people were pulling that money out because that's basically how much like some of the first party games like Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, etc., kind of cost in that frame. And I was like, there's no way that it costs that much. I was saying like it cost 9 figures, probably like low $100 million, but there's no way it cost $200 million. No, it cost $400 million. So, and I am totally solid on this source, by the way. So that's why I'm willing to share it with you. Because again, I'm not really a journalist. So yeah, the big things to take away: $400 million loss. The game was in horrible shape as of 18 months ago before release. Not even monetization, no onboarding, most content not even there. The game was in such bad shape at that point that they spent the budget of it again in urgent outsourcing to get the game finished from all of these different angles over an 18-month period. Internally, the game was considered part of the future of PlayStation with heavy cross-media references and a system of toxic positivity surrounding it that didn't allow anyone to meaningfully change the course of the game. Because if the people at the top truly believe in something, you're not going to be able to do much about that, I don't think, from the trenches. So I thought people would be interested in that, and just wanted to throw that out there that, yeah, Star Wars really apparently, or I'm sorry, Star Wars. Sony really saw this as a Star Wars-like project for them, like the potential to, and now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Not only why they spent so much money on it, but why they bought the team. So there are people there, and to me, it's unclear who exactly the people are. I know some of the names. I don't want to get too deep into that because a lot of the things I learned were off the record, but obviously this is on background. And it's like, yeah, now it makes a little more sense. You spent, and by the way, the $400 million not included in how much it cost to buy the team.
There it is, right there. There it is. Just confirming it right there.
My gosh.
Wow. This is, I mean, listen, people talk about ET. Let's just finish this up real quick, and I'll have some closing thoughts on this.
So yeah, so Concord is Sony's biggest released game by budget to date, and it is the biggest loss that they've ever had as a company on a project before.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, this says everything, right? This is without a doubt, unequivocally, the biggest, not just video game disaster, but this may be the biggest entertainment product that's ever, like, disaster period. Outside of Sony, like, I can't think of anything bigger off the top of my head.
Rings of Power.
The $1 billion, yeah.
The $1 billion. That was for the rights. That was for season 1, and some of the stuff that went over to season 2, like sets that were being reused, set pieces and costumes. I mean, this is a Rings of Power sized disaster that it rivals it.
But Rings of Power got a second season.
It did get a second season.
This barely got a second week.
Well, true.
This is, I mean, if this is accurate, and Colin's a pretty stand-up dude when it comes to his knowledge. He doesn't like just to throw shit out. I mean, he's a way better reporter than Paul.
There you go, reporter. Very good, Craig.
This is
very good. They're not journalists, okay?
In my literally 20 years of doing video games.
What do we have to do to get a documentary on this? We got to get sources.
Yes.
My gosh.
As pointed out, it says, Craig, would you crowd?
It would be very interesting to find out what really happened. Again, same with COVID. Would really be interesting to find out what really happened.
The biggest failure in video games by far.
Is it the world's biggest scam?
It was rumored 200 million.
Because I've heard that
That's $600 million.
billionaires
It's insanity.
COVID gave rise to new billionaires.
The poor guy stepped away,
We don't know what's the truth out there.
right? Like stepped down from his position.
But okay, this is gaming. I keep forgetting that
We talked about that earlier. Like,
I'm watching this content about
just leave.
Concord.
Like, you made your money, you're good. Get the hell out of here and go buy some land and go do nothing for the next 30 years. You know, go raise a family.
So Vara is where is Blabs? Okay,
A lot of this blame, judging by
what happened to Blabs?
Herman Hulst, who's
Is Vara the new
because he apparently
host of Side Scrollers?
and like he really was the one who had a lot of faith in Fox.
Was Blabs
One who
taken by
acquisition.
the woke mob?
It seems like this is gonna fall on him. I mean, he's the major reason why we're talking about a $600 million disaster.
Does he step down?
Potential.
I don't know. I don't know exactly how long he's been at Sony. That would be my question.
Man,
It's been a couple years at least. I think, okay, so it's been roughly about 17 months since he took the reins of PlayStation Studios, but he was, a big part of PlayStation Studios before that. So he was probably the one who initiated the sale because that was, 18 months ago. And then it kind of was passed off to him. And then this was, I'm assuming, supposed to be like his studio defining game, that this is what was going to be the future. And well, it looks like it may be what kills him in the end.
okay, well, look, and this is what's interesting about this. In June 2024, Holst and fellow executive were promoted to joint CEOs, right? So he's fallen upwards.
He has fallen upwards. It is true, but it's a co-CEO. So maybe one gets the boot. Yep, one gets the boot, and then he's out.
Wow. That is absolutely unbelievable. Unreal.
Okay, gonna give this one a like as well. I did not say much watching this one because I think I've already reacted enough on the first one. It's basically the same topic, and I'm sure a lot more content creators are going to cover this because this is very shocking. Everyone thought it was like 100 or 200 million, but no, it's not. It's a 400 million. They spent 400 million on a piece of shit. I wonder if I can, I'm somewhat feeling it right now. Maybe, could I sell them my shit for $400 million? Now we're just getting into we're just getting gross, I guess. Let's stop it. Stop it, okay? The only one who can stop it is me. More lies and fraud. Okay, anyway, guys, that's it. Basically, it's only one topic, over 1 hour of live stream, and it's only one topic because it's a massive topic. Everyone is going to talk about this. Yeah. So, guys, before that, let me play my music here. And there you go, welcome to the show. But this time it's, I guess, ending the show. Welcome to the end of the show. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the stream. And if you did, please consider following the channel in Rumble, follow the channel in Twitch, subscribe to YouTube, or follow in Kick, because I'm now also live streaming this. It's not my first time streaming in Kick, but I found a way to, multi-stream or add another platform to my multi-stream. So guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and as always, if I'm not too busy, I'll be back with another hour, or maybe even a couple of hours. Who knows? But until then, Bye bye for now.